Sullivan, please welcome.
A lot of you guys haven't seen me speak before. I've been to Ukraine 16 times during the full-scale invasion, soon to be the 17th time. As you can tell with the name of Sullivan, I am not Ukrainian, but I'm a big promoter of freedom, liberty, and the culture of Ukraine. One of the things I want to say that we've done this year that I want to compliment Dima on is we've kept this focus on Ukraine. I don't come out here for political purposes. I don't come out here for religious purposes. And frankly, I don't care about any of the other countries. I care only about Ukraine and her people. One of the things I've learned about Ukraine, and I've always laughed, it's the country of my youth. I was born and raised in the US. I was born and raised in a country where all that was important was to be free, our families, and a better life for ourselves and our children. And that really is the culture of Ukraine. It's who you guys are. It's why you continually fight. I've been there so many times, especially during this full-scale invasion. The last trip on January 1st, if you saw the drones that ended up in the government district, it's 500 meters from my apartment. I have videos looking out the window, actually, of those drones hitting. And it's an experience you really cannot explain. I have friends in Ukraine that have young children. One of my best friends has a 9-year-old little girl. He's seen her 6 times in 3 years. They live in Poland. The last time that Solomia left, she jumped in Olis's arms and wrapped her legs and arms around him and cried like something you've never seen. That's what is happening right now to the country and the people of Ukraine. One of my trips years ago was in 2017, which most people won't know what happened that year. It was the very first time the American contingent marched in the Ukrainian Independence Day parade. I was standing on Krещатик about 200 yards away from the Krещатик itself, and I could hear people just kind of murmuring. You hear that noise in the crowd. I didn't know what they were saying. And all of a sudden I saw 27 American soldiers in fatigues carrying an American flag. And the Ukrainians said, "Americans." And it made me realize what we represented to the world. My country is not that anymore. We've become a disappointment to the world, in my opinion. So a lot of what I'm going to say now is about what's happening, what you guys see daily. The American public supports Ukraine. We're based on the same principles you are. Freedom, democracy, better life for ourselves and our children, individualism. Some of the leadership of this country, or quote unquote leadership, has no idea who we are. When I was in Ukraine this last time, Zelensky had a very famous interview, and in the interview he called Putin a specific name. What I will say is that the Republican Party, of which I am a Republican, the people, Tulsi Gabbard, Elon Musk, who's a moron, J.D. Vance, and Donald Trump are dope-ops. And it's one of the only Russian words I'll ever say. See, what we have to understand is who we are, what we represent to you guys, and we have to stand up. I've talked a lot about an American Maidan. I have friends that were at Maidan in 2014. I know what that was about. We cannot accept what's happening right now. We can't accept what our country is doing. We can't accept idiotic comments from Donald Trump yesterday, who said he knew nothing about the kids being kidnapped. Was he never read the news? It's been out for 2.5 years. When J.D. Vance says Ukrainians need to be appreciative, Ukrainians are very polite. It's a little bit different than those of us that are American. So what I have to say to J.D. Vance is, you want Ukrainians to be appreciative of having their little girls raped, of the women and children being raped, of their houses destroyed. You want to be appreciative of that? Because it shouldn't have happened. The first mistake was Obama. Biden did almost nothing, and Trump is even worse. As you can probably tell, I very rarely read anything. I kind of just talk. The last thing I want to say, I actually have to read, and there's a reason. In 1963, President John F. Kennedy was in Berlin. He made a statement. The speech was about standing in solidarity to the freedom-loving people of Berlin, of West Berlin. West Berlin was surrounded by the Muscovians. We call them Soviet, but they were Muscovians. So he made a statement and made a speech in solidarity to those freedom-loving people of the world to stand behind them. I paraphrase the speech. There are many people in the world who don't understand or say they don't understand what is the great issue between the free world and Russia. Let them come to Ukraine and see. There are some who say the autocratic nationalism is a wave of the future. Let them come to Ukraine and see what the wave of the future is. There are some who say in Europe and elsewhere that we can work with the Russians. Let them come to Ukraine and see what it's like to work with the Russians and to trust them. There are even a few that say we should try to trust the Russians. One of them lives not far from here. I have one answer to him, one question to our President Krasnov, the human Cheeto. Let him come to Ukraine. Let him see it. He can't use the excuse of having bone spurs this time. The right of the people to be free to choose their own path is undeniable. It's what human beings want. When Russia is out of Ukraine and Ukraine is part of Europe and Europe is peaceful, Ukrainians can look and know they fought and died so the world could be free. Ukraine will show how important freedom actually is to the entire world. All lovers of democracy and believers of freedom should believe they are citizens of Ukraine in their soul. We should all stand with Ukraine and their struggle for freedom. We are one. All freedom-loving people in the world are one. So I take pride in saying something that I hope my Ukrainian friends will allow me to say. It paraphrases something that Kennedy said in 1963. Ya Ukrainets, I am Ukrainian. We stand with you. That's it, guys. Don't give up. The people of Ukraine are not giving up. Understand that a lot of us are with you. If anyone needs anything, call me. Dima knows where I am. We have got to be there for you. Do not let people think that they're alone, because you're not. Slava Ukraina.